Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. I'm super excited for what we get to learn today. I reached out to a couple of church groups yesterday, just inspired to invite, I'm a member of a church or a worldwide women's group called the Relief Society. And it was started in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints back in like the 1820s or 1830s or something like that. So it's probably the oldest and largest women's organization in the world. And I just had the thought yesterday that there are so many people in the world, and just for some reason I was really connected with women and the fears and uncertainty, that people have, and the confusion that is even just like conflicting messages out there because of this COVID-19 pandemic that we're experiencing right now. And I can't remember who said it, and I know I'm not going to quote it exactly right, but something about, if you want to create change within a community, then you educate the women. And I just, that thought came to me, and I just felt like it's was important for me to share with my local chapter of this group. And also I have another chapter that I was invited to come over and teach my daily GPS process. The group is about 45 minutes away from me, and I was invited last year or this year. I can't remember when it was. I think it was in the winter time. So it was probably like November or December, invited to come over and teach my daily GPS process. And it was such a profound change within that group. I was privileged to keep connected with those people, and just the texts and the emails that I was receiving about the changes that was making within the group. And not, just individually, but also as a group, the changes that were happening, because so many of the women were starting to do a daily GPS every day. And I just had the impression to invite these ladies to share within their group, within their chapter of this women's organization, about the gratitude call, because so many of you have texted me and emailed me and told me what a powerful change this has made for you in your lives, and that, connecting here on a daily basis has really helped to raise your vibration level and to allow you to really be connected with God so much more regularly and consistently, and just giving you so much more hope. And so I just felt really inspired to share with those two particular groups that I knew that I had kind of some pull in. And I hadn't planned on sharing that today, but it just kind of came out of my mouth. And I just want to invite anybody who is within the sound of my voice, if you're listening to this call as a podcast or on live, and you happen to be a part of that group of the Relief Society, the women's nationwide, or the worldwide, women's organization, the Relief Society, I invite you to do whatever you can to share this gratitude within your group. I know that, they do have a policy of not, promoting businesses within the group, but if there's a way, that you can at least invite maybe some individuals and let them know that it's free. We never ask you to pay anything or purchase anything or anything like that on this call. So obviously, I do invite you to participate in some of my offerings that are paid and that are a part of my business and kind of lead to possibly working with me. But this call is always free, always will be, and you'll never feel like you're being sold on anything here. So if you feel that is something that resonates with you, I would really love to have you share that within your group, share this gratitude call within the group, because I really do feel that it's important for everybody to know that even in times of uncertainty and confusion, that there is a way that you can come back and be centered every day in Christ, and to know that everything's good. God's got everything under control. Okay, thank you. I appreciate you just letting me share my heart on that. And the focus that I wrote down today was gratitude for examples of Mother Earth. Oh, how interesting, Mother. Because I could have said gratitude for examples of Earth, of the earth, of God's abundance. I mean, there could have been a lot of things that I chose, but the words that I chose, Mother Earth, that definitely relates to the women of the world. Lots of things were shared in our first rounds of gratitude about the abundance of the earth that we're experiencing right now, especially as gardens are starting to produce and things like that. And even somebody mentioned that there was a wildfire across the highway from their home, and even wildfires are part of Mother Earth, and the cycles and everything, the order of the universe. Earth is definitely a part of that. Creativity, renewal, cleansing, new starts, breathing. I mean, all of these feel like just part of this earth that we live on. And that's what we're going to focus on. So I'm going to set my timer for 90 seconds. We're going to do a private silent meditation on gratitude for examples of Mother Earth, and just see what comes up. Begin. All right. I have been receiving so many lessons from being in charge of the garden this year. My husband has been in charge of it probably for the last 10 years, and along with all the other things that he does in the yard. And this year, I was inspired to just take that job. And he has not, I don't even think he's been in the garden like twice this whole year, because and it's not that he's not welcome in there. It's just that he doesn't need to go in there because he has lots of other things that he does around the yard. And I've been, doing it all. So he hasn't really had any reason to go in there unless I've asked him to like go check the zucchini plants or something. But one of the things, but he has been giving me lots of advice. So because he's been doing it for the last 10 years, I grew up on a little small farm. We had a cow, some chickens. We had we had an acre of garden, and grew up in a family of 7 kids. And so it was just really good, for us to work together in this way. but it had been a few years, since I'd done that. And so he's actually been giving me some really good advice, and I'm always taking his advice and, as like truth, and go and implement it. And I've been always rewarded. And I think that was probably my biggest lesson today, is that receiving that advice from somebody who has higher knowledge than me, something that they're very experienced and practiced with, receiving that advice and actually implementing it has really given me some great rewards. For example, I was watering my plants every day, and I thought as long as I watered them every day that they would be good. And he told me how he creates these big, huge wells around the plants, and he'll deep water them. He just fills it completely up, and sometimes goes back and fills it up again. And that it doesn't, he doesn't have to water again for like 3 or 4 days. So not only is it less work, you're only doing it once, and even though it takes a little longer, it's still faster. And then the other thing was, when I tried this, the next day, I had been really struggling to keep some of my plants alive. It felt like the bugs were getting the leaves, and it was just like trying to keep ahead of everything was so hard. And then when I deep watered the very next day, I went out there and my cabbages were double the size. Granted, they were pretty small to begin with, but they seriously looked like they had doubled in size overnight. And the leaves on the squash plants just grew enormously. And now they're providing all this wonderful shade for the plants, and my zucchini and my yellow squash plants started producing a lot more. I was getting these little tiny skinny things, but then when they were able to be plumped up with the water, they all of a sudden just were like, oh, huge. And it was just like an overnight thing. And so I think that's my biggest lesson today that I received in my personal inspiration, is that when you listen and you act upon information, feedback, advice, whatever that is given to you by either God or somebody who has more information that has been there, maybe a mentor, that you are, infinitely and exponentially rewarded. And you get the benefits of that experience, gives you the benefits of things that it was told blind spot to me. I had no idea that my plants would love having more water at once and just go on a couple days without. So you get the benefit of the knowledge of someone else when you act on that information. Who else has something that they would like to share?
I would. I checked out that quote that you had. It's actually it's actually an African proverb.
Oh.
And it goes, if you educate a man, you educate an individual. But if you educate a woman, you educate a nation.
Wow. Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that.
When I think of Mother Earth, I think of mushrooming way back in the day in Oregon, up at Salmon Creek. And we go back in there, and the pine needles and the leaves from the trees would be thick on the ground, and it was like a carpet. And we would be pushing them. The mushrooms would pop up through this debris, and then they would be there, Bolitas or morels or fried chicken or any of the mushrooms that we would collect to take home. But the one thing that I loved the most was the smell of the soil, the dirt, the earthy smell. It was so rich, and it just, to me, was beautiful. And then gentle breezes through trees, especially big trees. and gentle snowfalls. All of those things happen to us here on this earth. And thank goodness we get to experience them. They are fabulous. The ocean can roar and be tumultuously ugly, but then again, it can be gentle on the beach. And that's, to me, all of that together is just tremendous.
Well, beautiful. Thank you. I just, as you're talking about shrooming, I'm just like, my senses are tantalized. I can actually smell like the dirt, that rich smell on a forest floor like that. And what a beautiful thought that all of that debris, when you think about, debris, you do think it's ugly. When you think about debris in your house, it's like, oh, let's clean this out. Let's get rid of it. But the debris is the perfect setting for these mushrooms to grow and just be given abundantly from the earth. And, you mentioned the ocean, and a lot of times we see the ocean as just like this beautiful ebb and flow that we can walk by the beach and see the sunset. And it's this peaceful, peaceful thing. And then there's also, it can create destruction too. And what an amazing array and opposite ends of the spectrum of lessons of opposition that we can learn from Mother Earth. Thank you. Who else?
I would like to share, if you don't mind.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle.
What came to me was her timing. We can go through a drought, and we can have things, or a fire, that we can't control. And all of a sudden the rains come, and a cool wind comes when we're hot sometimes. And the way that she embraces us and helps us, but her timing, that's something I struggle with as being a mom, is when to step in and when to allow things to happen. And her timing is so perfect, and lessons are learned because of her timing. And I don't know, that's just what came to me today as I've been working on being my kid's best mom, is what's the best timing sometimes, and how do I know it? And she's just such an excellent example. She has her seasons, and it's just an amazing process to me.
Awesome. I love that. And, we really have to be in tune to know when it's the perfect timing to do all these things. And I love that you brought in the seasons, because Mother Earth does allow death, and and Mother Earth does also allow like being dormant in the winter. That a lot of times we as mothers and even fathers have a hard time seeing our kids be dormant, or to go into, a place where they're kind of feeling a little bit sparse with, all the abundance that is available in the winter or in the summertime, and, all the fruit and everything. We just want to be in summer all the time, or spring with all the flowers, or fall with the leaves, or whatever. We can pick our favorite time and say, oh, if we could just stay here all this time. But there is such beauty in the seasons of our lives and the seasons of our children's lives, and just watching the development and the growth that happens after maybe a time of depression, or whatever, that is experienced that we might consider a winter. And I think, just being in tune and listening for our intuition to tell us what to do as mothers is, and having Mother Earth as an example, that kind of, I don't know, that just feels really good. Robert wrote something in the chat. Mother Earth is glorious in all her grandeur, but the seed of life comes from man. And that's wonderful to really realize that it's a work together. The Mother Earth and man working together is what really generates. I can't expect to have a garden if I'm not willing to put the seeds in the ground. You know, might have some mushrooms coming up on a forest floor without my help, but if I want to really cultivate some things that would sustain me through, through a season or through the winter, then I need to put those seeds in the ground. So thank you, Robert. Appreciate you sharing that. Who else?
I'll share.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Phil.
The first thing that came to my mind was grounding, and I like to take my bike and go ride on the trail and then get up to a mountain lake, and then take my shoes off and put my feet in the mud by the edge of the lake, and then go into that lake and just feel the calmness and the serenity that Mother Nature just gives us. And it's just, for me, it's just like one of the highlights of life, to be able to do something like that. And I just think of the simple treasures that are abundantly available to us, that at just any time we want to go and be a part of it. And that's what came to me.
Awesome. Thank you. When you said treasures, I thought immediately of like gold and silver and diamonds, and things that are within Mother Earth that people dig around and find those. But really that was man assigned a meaning to gold and silver and diamonds and rubies and all these things, that they were treasures, and that walking out in a lake barefoot in the mud would maybe not be necessarily a treasure. And I personally have experienced that as well, where I've climbed to the top of a mountain and taken my shoes off and stepped into a cool lake, done some yoga up in the sunrise. That is some of the highlights of my life to have experienced. I love that John Denver song, "You Fill Up My Senses," and he talks about like a night in the forest and the mountains in springtime and the walk in the rain and the ocean and sleepy blue ocean. All these things are just easily and abundantly available to us to fill up our senses and to help us just really enjoy the treasures of the earth. And I just love that idea. Wow, thank you. I feel like I want to share what Robert talked about, that the seed of life comes from man, and going back to that original quote that Ruby found, that African proverb about, if you educate a man, you educate an individual, and if you educate a woman, you educate a nation. I just feel like I want to kind of put those two together and help us realize how important it is for all of us, to work together. That men and women working together is really what creates the most powerful outcome, and that if men and women can really appreciate Mother Earth, and the knowledge that it was created by God, that she was created by God for us to be able to fully experience these treasures on earth and to be nourished and protected and supported, with all of the abundance that Mother Earth puts out, that gives us. That man, we talked about how man puts seeds in the ground. And also man has the ability, just like we talked about the opposition and both ends of the spectrum, man has the ability to strip her clean and to really destroy her as well. And so it's really important that a balance is kept and that men and women together with the different unique gifts and skills that we have, just like my husband and I working together to create a beautiful yard. You know, it's not like the garden isn't man's work or women's work. It's just, we are creating a beautiful experience together, and Mother Earth is the playground for us to be able to do that. Any last thoughts before we shift over to our permission process? All right, let's go ahead and take a deep breath. And right now, I just invite us to be conscious of the love that our Heavenly Father must have for us to have created such a beautiful place for us to live. Such variety. Think of deserts, oceans, forests, wetlands, jungles. There's such variety. So many different ecosystems that are available here, and each one provides the means for life, the means for healing, all of the different plants that God has engineered for us to be able to use as in all different ways, to eat them, for nourishment, to use as healing herbs, to just enjoy the variety of foods and the variety of colors and smells and sights, beautiful flowers, whatever it is that's coming to you. Just be aware of the beautiful variety and the wonderful healing power that Mother Earth has been endowed with. And in this meditation where we are just being open to know and experience the fullness of Mother Earth, also being aware of possibly ways that we have bypassed and maybe not been enjoying and experiencing the fullness that Mother Earth has to offer and that God has provided, whether that be just neglecting looking at the sunrise every day, or whether it be actually pouring things into the earth that are not healthy. Whatever it is that you're feeling that maybe you haven't been experiencing or really appreciating the fullness of the abundance and the beauty and the variety that God has given us in the form of the earth that we live on. And what is the limiting belief coming up for you that would give you sort of an excuse or whatever make you feel okay about the way that you have treated our Mother Earth in the past, and how possibly have you not expressed gratitude the way that you could for all of the goodness that is available to us? What's the limiting belief? Kind of your having a hard time thinking of the word, just your excuse or your reason why you have not done that in the past. And what is the cost? What is the cost of that limiting belief? What is the cost of not experiencing a sunrise or a sunset? What is the cost of not putting your hands in the earth and just feeling, hands or feet in the earth, and just feeling that the magnetic energy of it, and receiving the abundance, the healing power that the earth has within it, the growth, nutrients and everything is provided for seeds to grow, for experiencing that. What is the cost of your limiting belief? And if you don't like that cost, if you'd like to experience something different, then you can choose to do that. You can give yourself permission to choose a new belief. And if you're ready to choose a new belief, say yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So now it's time to choose some new beliefs. If you're going to let go of those old limiting beliefs, you need to replace them with something. So what new beliefs will allow you to let go of that limiting belief, to fully experience all of the beauty and variety, the healing power, the growth potential, the energetic magnetism, the all the laws of physics that Mother Earth lives by, experience all of that. What new beliefs will allow you to step into a new way of being with relation to your Mother Earth, and to begin to experience more of the examples that she provides, and to learn and grow in flow with Mother Earth? What are your new beliefs? And then when you have 2 or 3 new beliefs, let's just take a moment, ground one more time, take another deep breath. Allow yourself to connect with the soles of your feet with Mother Earth. And whether you're sitting with your feet in the grass, or if you're sitting on carpet, with your feet on carpet, or whatever it is, just imagine and feel with your feet that you are standing actually on Mother Earth. And whether that is on a cushy ocean floor, ocean with the sand, or if it is on a cushy carpet of the forest floor that has been described, or if it's feeling the warmth of a rock beneath your feet, maybe a red rock, or whatever it is that really feels right for you. Just imagine that you are standing on Mother Earth, and that you're drawing the energy up through the soles of your feet, into your legs, and all the way up into your hips. Every time you breathe, that you're breathing that energy up into your body, into the core of your body, and down the arms and hands, and into your neck and head. So you're completely filled with this energy of Mother Earth, and feeling and knowing and sensing more of what she has to offer you, and the abundance and the love that prevails there, and any other feelings that you're feeling as you're just drawing that energy up through the soles of your feet and becoming one with your Mother Earth. And allowing these new beliefs to mix with this Mother Earth energy, breathing those new beliefs in. And what is the one most important thing that you could do today to become one with Mother Earth, to be able to really learn from her examples? What is the one most important thing? What's your inspired shortcut today for becoming one with Mother Earth and learning from her as an example, as a mentor?
Hi, my name is Roxana.
Hey,
I would like to
Roxana.
share. Hi,
Go ahead.
share with you guys. Thank you for inviting me to this group.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's sometimes when I go to walk on the trails or run in the trails, it's trees. It's a bunch of trees in the way there, and there's one tree particularly that I like, and I hug the tree, and I connect with the mother that way by hugging the tree, and I can feel the energy all over my body. It's an amazing feeling. I think I invite you, all of you, when you have a chance to hug a tree, to feel the energy of Mother Earth, and it help you a lot, make you happy.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Roxana. Thank you for joining us today. We are out of time, and so I wish we could share more, because I know all of you have something wonderful that you could share. I invite you to go to our Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude, and share your thoughts there. We'd love to experience what you have experienced here and go hug a tree today, or whatever it was that your inspired shortcut was. Take action on that immediately. And I know, Roxana, I've experienced that, where you can touch something that is not alive, and then you touch something that is alive, and you can definitely feel the difference. So I've had that experience. I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you all for joining us today. We'll look forward to being back together tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time, and excited to continue this conversation on our Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude. Thank you. Love you guys.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. We'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.